The following is a discussion with Rachel Miller. Rachel is a successful entrepreneur and, for example, she has been hired by Facebook to teach to the Facebook guys how to use Facebook. It shows you how her skills are recognized in her industry. She built a team to a number of 18 people while also raising her 6 kids. Yes, 6 kids. So far it seems to be like an amazing story. Yes, but something happened recently. Her CEO, her right arm, sent her an email of 6 pages long about everything that was wrong with Rachel and with the company. So far we could think, it's gonna be a good starting point to have a good conversation about how to improve the process. Yes, but this CEO sent the email to the entire team. Rachel had no other solution than to fire her, but she soon saw that the whole team was revolting and she had to fire absolutely everyone except a small sub-team of 3 people that were separate from the main team. This scenario represents one of the worst nightmares that keep entrepreneurs awake during the night. That's why I wanted to interview her to investigate, to know what did she feel when she received this email, how she handled the situation, and how did she manage the transition from a team of 18 plus 3 to a team of 0 plus 3. And you will see that basically her revenue was cut in half, but her profits remain the same. Let's go. Can you do the best clap this camera ever saw?
Okay.
All right. So thank you, Rachel, for being here.
Of course.
And for accepting to share your story, because I know it's not an easy story to share.
So it's a hard one.
It's a hard one. So, and I mean, we talked about it before.
Yes.
So could you share in a nutshell what happened?
Okay. Guys, I'm super, super grateful because there was a time when I didn't have a big business, and there was a time when I didn't have money to cover the bills. So while I'm going to tell this story, I kind of want to couch it to let people know that there's gratitude even in the hard things, and everything's survivable, everything's figure outable. I don't remember who I got that from. It's not my quote. I'm stealing it from someone. But I am grateful for the experience that I went through, and everyone's problems are somebody else's blessings. So while I'm telling you this, I don't want you to be fearful about growing a team or about growing your business because of the things that I faced whenever I grew my business. Because just because I faced that doesn't mean that you have to. And hopefully me telling you my story means that you will maybe go through a bumpy employee situation with less bruises, or even just avoid it altogether. But I kind of feel like everybody's going to go through this as they grow their companies. Maybe not at the level that I did, but everyone's going to have a struggle with an employee. But that doesn't mean that this isn't good, and that doesn't mean that I didn't get blessings from it. So, okay, to back up, I'm growing my business. I have a team. I've given them bonuses whenever we have launches, when we have good months. We were growing our team, so we were in a growth phase. But the team, before we were growing, was getting bonuses because they were doing a lot of the work and because we didn't have a big team yet. But as I hired more people, my expenses went up and my profits went down, which happens when you're growing a business. Mm-hmm. But the expectations of my employees didn't really match the system. And I think it's because I tried to be my employees' friends. And by being their friends, I overshared, I gave them too much information, I gave them too much autonomy. It got to the point, yes, we grew the business together, but I grew the business for years by myself to get to that point. Does that make sense? So
Absolutely.
We grew it together, and I liked that they saw it as their business, but there's a spot where they don't get to dethrone me as the dictator. I'm still in charge of my business. Okay, so what happened is I had in the past been really generous, but we got to a stage where I couldn't be generous as much in the future. Mm-hmm. And we had $1 million launch.
Wow.
So
selling what product?
I have a Facebook course where I help people grow an audience we don't just grow on Facebook, grow an audience organically without ads, and we're really good at helping people grow an audience. And so we sold this course, we brought in, I think it was like $600,000-$700,000 in cash that week, and then the rest dribbled out with payment plans and with upsells and all of that. And I think when the dust settled, I think we were actually at like 900,000 because we had like chargebacks and refunds and stuff like that. But if the money had all come in on time, like technically it was $1 million launch.
Yeah, that's what we call marketer math.
Marketer math.
It's like we don't take into account the refunds, the people who don't pay until the end. So it's like the number of orders you had.
The number of orders I had, if that had all gone through, it would have been $1 million in a week. And so my team saw $1 million. What they didn't see was chargebacks, refunds. They didn't see the fact that I just hired all of these additional team members. What they also didn't see was that 40% of my traffic or more came from affiliates that I had to promote. They didn't see the ad spend that I put into it. They didn't do all of the accounting. And but previously I'd been so generous. So whenever we had a big launch, I gave a lot of that back to my team. Mm-hmm. And this launch it looked really good on paper, but it actually was less profitable. So I have the launch, and I'm not giving big bonuses, and that led to some tension. And I didn't see it enough to explain it at the time, but I think that started festering some issues that within about probably 2-3 months later, they kind of exploded on me. In that time, we also had Black Lives Matter happen, and I have a biracial family. I'm super grateful for my family, but I had some people saying, you don't understand the Black experience because you're white, even if you have biracial family. No, in my community.
Okay.
There was a lot of, your team has a lot of white people, has Asian, has Latino, but you don't have anybody who's African American on your team to explain the Black experience for your students. And I was like, you know what, guys, you're right. And I don't. Yes, I have children that are Black, but I don't understand the Black experience. So I told my team, go hire for more diversity, which I later found out you can't preferentially hire someone based on the color of their skin, which...
Yeah, you can say, I want to hire Black.
I can't say that.
It's illegal.
It's illegal.
Yeah,
yes, it's illegal to say that.
Even if it's positive discrimination, it's still discrimination.
It's discrimination, yes.
Yeah.
And I know I was trying to fix something that we were having a lot of feedback about, that I wanted to like correct an issue in my team, but I handled it the wrong way. So what I'm telling you guys, is that I'm telling you my faults. I was oversharing with my team. I committed, I did things that were wrong. I overshared with my team. So what that means is I told them the problems, I became their friend, I gave them more days off than, I led them to be entitled. So what this led to is, was one day, I was like, let's fix our marketing because we're actually less profitable. Let's fix our marketing, and they saw all the money. And so one person on my team, who was one of my leadership staff, wrote a letter, and she CC'd people on my team.
So she sent the email to everyone.
She sent the letter to the team. Yes, and she CC'd them to the team. So she sent it straight to me, but she BCC'd or CC'd everyone else. And it was a very, very long letter about all of the things that were wrong with me and wrong with my team and wrong with my leadership and how it's her business and she built it.
Oh,
and
she said it was her business.
Well, that I wasn't acknowledging that it
a contribution.
Her ownership of the business, her place in the business. I would refer to my employees almost like my partners, but that doesn't mean they're actually legally my partners. We're partnering together on this project. Does that make sense? Let's join me in this. We had some different definitions of some words.
Right.
And I So she sent me this really, really long
So
letter.
she was in a position of manager, right?
She was my number 2. So yes.
Okay, wow. She was a
leadership
CEO,
role.
basically.
She was a leadership role in my company. Almost everyone reported to her, and I did that model, which I don't think is a good model. And I don't remember where it was, where you have an integrator and everyone reports to the integrator, and you like do your own thing, and the integrator manages the people and manages the stuff.
Is it in Rocket Fuel? I don't know.
Oh, I don't remember where I got it. I would strongly suggest not having everything in one person, because that puts that person as the authority in your business, and that caused what we had happen. So if that person's unhappy, and there were some issues happening in her life, so it's not like she had some things that were setbacks in her life, and so I think she was hurt by me, but she was also probably hurt by a lot of other things happening in her life at the time. So it was probably an escalation of stuff. But she sent the letter, and it was a really long letter to everyone. And I took I think the first day I saw it.
It was an email, just to be clear.
Yes, yeah, it was an email, sorry. The first day, or the first couple hours that I got it, I tried to sit and breathe through it. And then I contacted a lawyer, because she did bring up things that, you need to get a lawyer involved with. For example, I did say that some of the things she said, and then I had to say to myself, what she's saying is truth. So as a business owner, when you have a team implosion and your team's starting to give you feedback about things that are going wrong in your team, you have to kind of step back and put on the lens of what if they're right. And I'm super, super grateful, because what she said was truth. Was it exaggerated? Yes. Was it maybe not seeing my intention? Yes. But it was truth, a form of truth.
It was maybe not shared with the best compassion.
No, it wasn't.
But
at the same, and guys, this happened a year ago, and I wouldn't tell the story if it wasn't for the fact it's a scab. But even a scab has some raw edges. So, but anyways, yeah. So she, but I had to say, while this is what happened, there's a version that's also what happened, and so I had to take ownership of what had happened. So,
and also, I mean, why do you think she sent that to everyone? She didn't have to. She could just have.
She could have just had a meeting with me.
And it would have been just.
It would have been. I would have made action steps to fix those things.
So was she maybe in a...
So what happened actually was we had a meeting, and in the meeting she word vomited how she was upset about some stuff. And I said, okay, great. I need you to, this is a lot of energy right now. So I need you to respond to me with an email. And I want you to write down solutions. So I'm hearing you. We have these errors in our business where our profit margins are lowering because I gave too much for affiliates. I have this going on. So we have to reevaluate, because not every $1 million launch means you make $1 million. And I was much more profitable when I had $500,000 launches. So we were okay, how do we have to restructure this. We have to fix some things. So why don't you, I realize you're upset, I'm upset, we're trying to fix this areas in our business, but why don't you instead give me some solutions? And instead of giving solutions, it was everything that I've ever done that's wrong, sent to the team.
So she was really resentful.
She was very resentful. And I didn't see that. I thought she was a lot of fun. I thought she was very productive. I loved her.
So you didn't see it coming at all?
I didn't see it coming, no. I knew we had issues we needed to fix. But
and now you have you had time to see it. Do you when you rewind, do you see any signs that it was about to happen, or?
Yes, a little bit, because I had a couple of employees. One person quit, and she said they quit during the letters that they quit for me, but I think that they quit because of the dynamic that we had. And looking back, I feel like we just weren't a good fit. And I didn't know it because I thought I was her friend. And so I took the friend hat on instead of the business owner. So I didn't look at it with enough of a business lens. And you're the business owner. You create the culture in your company. So if it goes to pot, that's on you. You organized it. So I created the culture that put her in charge of everyone. And so they were used to coming to me, and we were used to having a dialogue when there was a change. For example, change in bonus structure. like, guys, I'm letting you know, yes, we gave you a bonus last time, but we can't this time because it's $1 million launch, but it's not as profitable. Okay, you think you get the, all of those things. I didn't have, so anyways, I told her what the vision was, and I let her communicate because she was in charge of them. So I needed to have more of a leadership role, and I abdicated that to her because I was under the understanding, like, that's what an integrator does. They come in and they start running your company for you. And you're the business owner. You don't get to do that. So yes, she was even doing that for a little while. It's not like a new, anyways. So after the letter though, obviously you can't keep someone on your team when they do that.
Right.
So even if she's speaking truth, even if she's a great employee and she did great work,
the only fact she shared with everyone is like, it's like a big no-no.
Yeah, she basically was quitting.
Yeah.
So while I did technically fire her, it also was her quitting.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have fired her if we had been able to have solutions, like a list of, here's how we can get out of this hole. So I fired her, and so immediately before firing her, another person had quit, and then as she was quitting, another person said, so and so gave me a pink slip. Or the girl that was
pink slip. What is it?
It's like you're doing this and this and this wrong, but it's so serious. We're going to write you up in your formal employee file.
Oh, okay.
And she's like, I've been here for so many years and no one's ever gotten a pink slip. I'm like, we don't do pink slips. We have a conversation with you. Who does pink slips? So anyways, I'm like, so she was threatening to quit. Then another person's like, I can't deal with this scenario. I want to quit. So when she did that, I fired her, and I had to get a lawyer involved, because just the things that she was saying were so hurtful. I got a lawyer involved for that one. But what was fascinating to me was I had a meeting with all of the people afterwards. And
one-to-one?
One-to-one. I had a meeting with one-to-one because I needed to hear like what was their perspective. And a lot of them, they wanted to have that $1 million. Does that make sense? $1 million is a lot of money. And so
they wanted to have $1 million?
So, well, the person who was making 70 wanted a $20,000 raise to stay with our company. The other person wanted to have $8,000 for this because they deserved it. The other person, they all wanted a big check. And I'm like, so it actually ended up, guys, because the way the launch worked, I did give them their checks.
Really?
I gave them their checks and said, there's the door.
Oh.
By taking the check, you're leaving. So I wanted you don't want people on your team who are entitled.
I agree.
And what entitlement means is they see it as, this business was for me, I did this for you, I deserve this, instead of seeing or being open to seeing the full picture. So I gave everyone the things that they were asking for and then said, this doesn't work as a company, but if this is what you want, then this is your severance, and wish you well. So we actually lost the entire company except for two or three coaches. And when that happened, I restructured and said, what do I actually want as a business owner? What do I want? What kind of company would I want to run? I hired another person, and I hired the same exact personality again. I don't learn my thing, but this time I saw the signs.
Okay.
So like 3 weeks later, I'm like, I see some signs. These signs are red flags. I kept that person, the second hire, after the team imploded. I kept her for another 3 weeks as we built some systems. She did some work for me, and then we let her go. And then I said, okay, I saw the signs. I saw this personality twice now. Rachel, you need to put it out to God, to the universe, that God's going to send you someone that's not going to be like that personality. So I'm really grateful for that second person that came in, and she was good. She's a great employee. I just saw the signs in personality that were similar to the first person. Now, it could be that I was triggered, but at the same time, I now know what fits into my personality of working with me. And so the team imploded. Girl left, she was fired. Marketing manager who got asked for extreme salary that did not fit what his role was, he left with his salary. Coaching lead left with their salary. Customer service gal left. So I'm left with myself and like two.
That's interesting because there is a mismatch. That's why you let them go. It's because
cancer.
Yeah. I mean, they wanted like a check that was what they thought they were entitled to because of the results you had for the launch, but they didn't look at what their salary compared to the market, which is actually what, as an entrepreneur, we are looking for. We are paying the
salary
people.
To the market. I was paying very well compared to the
Exactly.
market. And then in addition to that, like, the thing is that I'd given them some big bonuses when we had 500,000 because my profit margin was so much higher.
And you think it was a mistake?
I should not have done that.
Interesting.
Because I gave them a gift that was large, and then they wanted the same thing, but percentage-wise to $1 million.
Yeah.
And there's no way I could do that and remain profitable.
So for the $500,000 launch, what was the bonuses?
I don't remember, but I remember that they were generous.
Okay.
But that led to us having problems.
To expectations.
Later. It led to expectations, and I never said that they would get the bonuses again. And I even said, we're not going to be getting them again. But it hurts. So the thing is, when your business grows, there's different levels where you have to spend more to continue the growth pattern. And we were at that stage where we had to begin spending more, or we could decrease. And when my team imploded, I made the choice, you know what? I don't know if I want to do this again, especially because the next hire I brought on was a similar personality and I became instant friends with her. Does that mean I realized I love being friends with people?
Can you be friends with your employees?
You can, but not at the level where you're having like multiple management levels. Does that make sense? I have 2 employees and I do think of them as my dear friends.
But it also makes them empowered to feel entitled, right?
Yes, but it's a smaller circle, and I'm much more clear about the boundaries of here's your salary now. And then one of them has asked for more, and I said, awesome, let's help you be an entrepreneur. How can I help you make more? If you want to make more, here's 3 different ways of businesses. How about this? Oh, you want to make that? Well, let's talk about that. We could talk 1 hour a week about how you can grow that kind of business, and let's do it. So it's I need the ownership of where they are to be on them, not on me. And I learned that but before I had this like caretaker mentality, and I put the ownership of where they are on me. And so anyways, they imploded.
So there were 18 people in your team at the time.
We had a number of employees, 5, 6 employees, and then we had full-time contractors, and then from different countries, but full-time contractors, and then we had a number of part-time contractors, and I lost almost all of them. I think we only kept like 3 people.
Wow.
So you
went from 18 to 3 in 3 months?
Yeah, pretty much like 3 months.
How did you cope up with the transition? Because all these people were doing some stuff.
They were doing stuff, yes.
So did you take everything back for yourself, or did you just stop doing these things?
We just kind of stopped for a little bit, and then I reevaluated what type of business do I actually want. Okay. So I don't want a business where I have to have 18 team members to keep my business afloat. I don't want to have a business where everything is dependent on me for finances, for the face, like if I'm sick, I don't want to have a launch where there's massive affiliates, massive bills, massive payouts, I want to have a simplified life. And honestly, content marketing is what's simple. I have a second business, guys, that's blogging, and that business is simple. It's very, very simple. It's massive profit margins because it's just simple. So I was like, how can I, looking at my blogging businesses and how simple they are, and this business that's not simple and not as profitable, how can I make my life and my business more in alignment with who I am? Back up, guys, I have 6 kids. I have to have a simplified life. Like, it's not doable to live my life like it was. It was a stress because of the amount of work I was doing to maintain that. It was a stress because of the people relationships. It just wasn't
And
the fit.
they are all about the same age. I mean, it's from 11 to
11 to 16.
Yeah,
so-
exactly. So 5 years of the range is 5 years only. It's
Yeah,
like,
they're crazy. But okay, so the kids. So where we were,
So you decided to have a simple business.
simple business. So what I did is I moved everything into a membership. I got rid of my selling a big course and a big launch. Which meant I didn't need a marketing team. I didn't need to have this. I didn't need to have that. I didn't need to have like sending packages. We sent packages to every new member who joined us. Well, you know what? I don't need to have packages that I'm mailing out if it's just me and a couple of coaches, part-time coaches. And I require that all my coaches run their own businesses because we're teaching people how to run a business. So they have to have their own thing to be able to properly teach it. So I brought the team in. I did hire someone, like I said, to help be my admin
first few weeks?
assistant for a couple. I brought her on, intending her to be full time, but she was a good transition period.
Okay.
Good transition period. I hired a new coach. So 2 of the roles I replaced, and both of them, there were still people who were, entitlement is a cancer, guys. Entitlement's a cancer. And so we got rid of this person and that person, but we kept 2 or 3. And they're speaking entitlement, and then that new person, one of the new roles I had, she's speaking the same entitlement stuff that the older people were.
So you think it's spreading, like?
I think it spreads.
So without this first, like your number 2 who sent his email, do you think it would have happened?
No, I don't think it would have.
So it's really like
I don't think it would have. I think
it's the worm in the apple. It's like contaminating everything.
Yes, I don't think it would have. I'm 100% sure that it would not have happened if I had never hired her. Now, it's not that if she hadn't sent the letter. I think the letter was the explosion of the cancer that's in there. But the cancer was growing. We just didn't see it until it was so big that it had spread. And sometimes you miss the signs, right? So in that circumstance, I ignored the signs that the cancer was there until the cancer was just astronomical. But if I had never hired her, I don't think we would have been in that spot.
So was it a fully remote team?
It was a fully remote team. And when I brought her in, we just needed to get over the hump of the first million launch. Because that first launch, when I hired all the new team to support this launch, and I had all the new things that you have to do to support that size, if we had overcome that hump, then we could have continued to scale. So I could have gone back to bonuses again once we were past the growth phase of that next, but I couldn't get past that growth phase with them. And then I realized I don't even want to do that work to get past that growth phase. What do I actually want in my life? What I want is the freedom to work or not work. I want the chance to play with my kids. I want a solid income, but I don't want to have to feel like I'm taking my income from somebody else. So, does that make sense? I'm the business owner. I'm not taking it from anybody.
No, and I mean, the fact that you can fire everyone and still have your business really shows that
Oh yeah, I did. My business is
you're
fine.
not only the owner, but also the one who really create the value
Yeah.
at the foundation.
Yeah.
And they need you more than you need them. I mean, ideally it would be
you.
more equal, but I mean,
Thank
it's
you.
true.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what
they were
happened.
meant to support me as a business owner. Your team is there to support you, and if you're supporting your team, it's not a healthy relationship. So
I agree.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know what, I'm sure for most of them, maybe I'm wrong,
Yeah.
they didn't find a better salary or, you
Oh
know.
no, some of them found great jobs.
Yeah, no, I'm
some
not
of them
saying
are doing
that,
really,
but
really well.
are they having like a salary that is the amount of what they were asking, the new amount?
Yeah, actually, because I teach people how to grow businesses.
Okay.
And so one of them left and became a successful realtor. Another
Oh,
one
that
left
is good.
and he's leading his own coaching program.
Awesome.
And I'm like, no, they're doing really well. And I wish them well. I'm glad that they're doing their best things. And I think they've learned about some things while they were on our team of what
Awesome.
they want to do and what they
Awesome.
don't want to do. No,
So you mean some of them became entrepreneurs?
Oh, almost all of them did.
Ah.
See, I teach, it's something about me, I don't know what it is. People come into my circle and they become entrepreneurs. If they've never been an entrepreneur before, now they are. And so I'm super, like, no, that's beautiful and awesome that they became entrepreneurs. I don't see it as a bad thing, like, oh, if they left you, they're in a worse state. No, they're in the entitlement was sign that there was a cancer, but that doesn't mean that they are a problem.
Absolutely.
It was just that the environment that I had allowed to be created was a problem. Take them out of that environment, they thrive. Take me out of that environment, I thrive. Now the girl that caused that cancer, that I allowed to bring that cancer in, I don't know what she's doing. She's on her own. I don't know. I haven't kept up with her. I have kept up with the other team members though, and it's been really fun to see them grow into their next stage. And some of them have even reached out to me for coaching to help them further.
So you got, so it's interesting because you were, I mean, you showed them the door. You were like,
I gave them a choice, but I gave them what they asked for.
You were also like a little bit like not maybe upset or not happy with the situation.
Well, I understood that there's truth. There's truth. Does that make sense? I set up expectations that there were always going to be these bonuses. I used language that was like, you're building this with me. So I gave them ownership, which is good. So I can see, and there's truth about some of the things I asked them to do, like hire someone of a certain ethnic background, which is not something you should be doing as a business owner. So there's truth in all of those things.
Okay, so
I understood why they left because I created that environment.
So and then you realize you want a simpler business.
Yes.
So
it's the best gift I could have gotten because them leaving showed me, what do I actually want in my life? How can I craft that for my business? And I love finding solutions to problems people think you can't find solutions to. And I love creating stuff. I do love teaching, but I love the act of figuring something out. I love figuring out an algorithm so now I can get traffic for free. I love figuring out how to get number one on Amazon without having to pay for ads. Number one on Google's page without having to pay for anything on Google. And I love those, finding those hacks and tweaking those hacks and collecting those hacks. I didn't have the freedom to do those things when I was managing people. I didn't have the freedom to do those things when I'm juggling all the parts of a business. And the management of a business, I don't have that when I'm wearing a CEO or a COO hat. I do have that when I'm co-creating. So what kind of team can an owner co-create in? Not a big team. They can only co-create when it's a very, very, very tiny team because there's the work everyone has to roll up their sleeves and do it together. Does that make sense? So I can get into the weeds and do graphic design if I want to today. And I can go make an ad and then pass it on to say, hey, can you check on that, make sure it's performing well? You know.
Because when you grow, you're becoming more and more manager.
Yes, and I'm like, okay, the ad guy does the ads and he gets really bent out of shape. This is part of the problem, actually. This legit did happen. When I go in and I make an ad, I'm a business owner. I want to make an ad today. That's what I want to do today. I want to go sit and make ads. That's what I woke up thinking exciting. I'm going to play with some ads today. But the ad guy that I hire was like, you're touching my ads. Are you upset with me? Am I doing something wrong on my ads? So now he feels devalued. Well, I'm just having fun.
Okay.
So I created a culture because I didn't fit into the org chart the way I love to work. And the way that lights me up because I get to fiddle.
And so you were willing to renounce a bit of revenue, I guess?
Yeah, we cut our revenue in half.
So, so can you share the numbers?
Yeah, we went from a multi-million-dollar business to barely $1 million, and I bet this year we're going to be slightly under $1 million. Yeah, we halved.
Okay. But what about the profits and the profit margin?
Oh, I made $25,000 more than the year before. So, guys,
so you're making more profit.
I made more profit, but when I'm saying more profit, it's very, very minimal percentage more. But technically, in the IRS, filed for more, yes.
Awesome.
I know.
You're going to pay more taxes this year.
I know.
It's a good sign.
I know. It's kind of cool. but I got my priorities aligned. The business isn't a business if you don't have you have customers paying you and you have a product being transferred and money goes to the profits. If your business doesn't have profits, you just have a hobby.
You're right. Yeah,
And it can
big
be a
time.
$1 million hobby. I know
Right.
people who've gotten 2 Comma Club awards and they've lost money
So the
in
two-
that. And so, like, for me, I've done a 2 Comma Club.
What is a Tucumã Club? Because some people don't know.
Sorry. I love Russell Brunson. I love all things One Funnel Away and ClickFunnels. It's a software. It's amazing. I don't mean to sell it right now. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but I'm not saying this to disparage it in any way. Is what I'm trying to say. But I know people who
Because the Tucumã Club is for people who made 1 million.
$1 million
Yeah.
on a single funnel.
So
But the-
a funnel, okay, let me explain
Okay,
because not
thank
everyone
you.
know.
Yeah.
A funnel is like, it's like different steps that you take people. So your audience is going to subscribe to your mailing list, and then you have different steps to convert them into customers. That's how it works.
Yes.
So some people
and there's a software that will help you do that process
Yeah.
to make it easier for you.
So
And-
ClickFunnels is one of them. There
Yes.
are many.
And
yeah.
so while I'm saying this, I'm not trying to make it an ad for ClickFunnels, but I'm also not trying to like disparage ClickFunnels. It's just a reality of life when you have a business owner. So some people, and ClickFunnels has
because
this award.
you can pay 1.5 million of ads and have
Exactly.
1 million of revenue,
and
which
you
means
have an
you're losing
award
money.
because you have $1 million funnel.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
you could actually lose money to get that award. And so in a lot of circumstances, that probably happens.
Yeah.
And
So you also mean there is a tendency for entrepreneurs to look at the revenue and not too much at the profit.
We look at the revenue and we think the more we invest, the more I'm going to have, and that's not always the case. A lot of times, the more money we have that we spend on our business, it just poofs and disappears, and it doesn't actually mean you get anything more deliverables for it. The team I have now works so much more, is so much more responsive, delivers more, and guess what? They work less than my previous team, but I get better results from them because we have a better culture.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So now how many are you?
We have 3 employees, including myself. I have
Wow.
one contractor that I kind of consider to be an employee. She comes to our
So
meetings.
3.5.
3.5. Guys, this is the fun part. This is the fun part. Last month, my community lead got man flu. I hope he doesn't mind that I'm outing him on this. It was a significant man flu, so he was down for the count. So it's not like he was down for the count. And my operations person, her daughter was in the hospital. So we had a time, and I had a software project that I'm working on, and it had a deadline. We had a time where no one was working on my business, and we were still profitable.
So you mean that your business is partly automated? You can leave it for a while and it's gonna make money.
Almost completely automated. Our sales system's automated, our onboarding is automated, our entrance into the program's automated, customer service. We used to have like somebody who's 2 different shifts of people for customer service. Now she works like 1 hour a day. That's almost fully automated. It's been amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So it was really like a blessing in
it was-
disguise, right?
Yes. It was a blessing for me, but it was also a blessing for them because I created a culture that had kind of trapped them from their best selves and trapped me from my best self. And yes, it was such a huge blessing. Yes, it was.
So okay.
It hurt, but it was good.
Yeah, you look very happy now.
Yeah.
And so okay, and how many hours do you work per week now in this business?
I work roughly maybe 1 to 3 hours a day on that business.
5 days a week?
Yeah, 5 days a week, but also I'll go several days without working on it at all. So I'm only required to show up for 2 hours of lives a month. But I show up for more, but I'm only required to do 2 hours.
Okay.
So I've got it structured where I don't have to work unless I want to. But I also have it structured where if I have a team that leaves, I can step in and do the entire business on my own and still not work 40 hours a week.
Okay. Wow. So I mean, I wanted you to share the story, so thank you a lot for sharing that. I know it's not easy again, but also it's because it's not so common. I mean, it's because I don't want to scare people. It's very uncommon.
I think it is common to have an employee struggle.
Yeah, of course. No, I'm not saying that.
Most people see the signs a lot before I did.
What is uncommon is to have someone who writes to everyone. I think most people tend to make it private, which is the best way, I guess. And it's really rare to fire everyone.
Well, I didn't fire them. They chose to leave and I showed them the door.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't try to rescue them. Does that make sense? I said, if you want to leave, I see that this isn't going to work. If someone threatens to leave you, they just get to leave you.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
You cannot see the.
You don't threaten, if you don't do this, I'm going to da. That's not, no, that's just.
I mean, it never happened to me so far. But if someone tell me that,
Yeah.
I will say like, okay, so it means you don't want to work with me anymore, and that's fine.
Yeah.
We don't have to work for the entire life together.
They're amazing people and they're doing amazing things. So, but at the same time, like, I understand, and they had that fire in them to do something else. I would have wished it kind of went through a different path to get there, but at the same time, that's part of their journey, part of my journey, and I would not be the company I am today if it wasn't for that, and I'm so grateful for it. So, yeah.
Thank you, Rachel,
you
for sharing.
for
So, what is the name of your business, by the way?
Most people know me from Moolah Marketing, and
that's the business we were talking about, right?
That's Grow Your Audience is
because
my Facebook.
You also
group.
have other businesses, but
I
we'll
do.
not
I
get into
collect
that today.
businesses, yeah.
But yeah, you're a multi-entrepreneur.
Yeah, I love starting a businesses and seeing a business grow and then passing it off a little bit. But yes, Moolah Marketer is my business. You can find me on Facebook in the group Grow Your Audience. It's free.
And you're doing that while raising 6 kids.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do another interview about that, but it's really amazing.
Yeah, I love seeing what's possible and knowing that I can't get a real job because I got too many kids to pull that off. But I can build something that's really impactful and amazing for me. So, and for others too. Help them grow.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
If you're still here, it's probably because you really love this video, probably because you learned a few interesting lessons from it. If it's the case, feel free to assassinate the like button just below, and also feel free to share it with someone who maybe is struggling with his team right now. Maybe it will help him or her relativize what is happening. See you soon in the next video, and meanwhile, don't forget, be intelligent, be rebel, and be part of people who know how to make important decisions as fast as possible. See you.